Have you ever struggled to get an avoidant loved one in your life to actually let down their walls so you can feel like you truly know them? While avoidance may seem distant, there are actually four specific things that will absolutely make an avoidant let down their walls and let you into their life so you can establish a much deeper connection. And honestly, without knowing these four things, relationships with avoidance can feel absolutely confusing and even sometimes impossible. And these four things may actually surprise you because sometimes when you are doing these things, it doesn't necessarily mean that an avoidant is going to show on their face because they're so stoic that these things are deeply meaningful to them. So here's the very first thing that I think is way underrated. And it's the fact that because dismissive avoidants have such a painful wound around shame, when they feel like somebody is accepting of them, it goes such an incredibly long way. What does accepting mean? Well, to avoidants, and this is literally coming from 10 plus years of working with avoidants personally, one to one, and working in the space of attachment styles and having these conversations, the biggest theme that you'll hear out of the avoidance mouth is that to them, acceptance is the opposite of judgment. And so if somebody is nitpicking, judging, looking at every little thing, micromanaging, all of these things, this is something that will absolutely cause an avoidant to shut down and want to run away. But if instead, when there's something that's happening that you don't like or that isn't sitting well with you, if you can communicate it healthily, this is what allows that acceptance to still feel fostered. And also, if there's a small mistake made with an avoidant in your love life or who's a friend or family member, if you can say, hey, it's okay to make mistakes, if you can normalize mistakes, make mistakes not such a big deal, not something you're going to be angry about or get frustrated at. And that does not mean that you're saying, who cares about solving for this? Okay. So being accepting of a person, just to really clarify this, it doesn't mean that you're not having standards or you're not communicating your needs in a relationship. It's how you communicate these things that will matter. So, for example, if you're dating an avoidant and they forget to call you back, acceptance doesn't mean that you just pretend like it's fine if it's not for you, but it's saying something like, hey, I know we all forget things sometimes, and that's totally normal, but I really value consistency in our relationship, and I would appreciate if you can be a little more mindful about calling me back. That is you being able to communicate a need or a standard still rooted in a place of acceptance. And this is a game changer for relationships with avoidance. In fact, avoidants actually respect when you communicate your needs, but they only hear you if you're doing it rooted in a place of kindness and acceptance first. As soon as they feel judged or criticized, they shut down and they start going into self-protection mode. And then you're always going to have your needs just falling on deaf ears. So that is point number one of four. Number two, if there are things that you see the avoidant working towards, okay, they're actually trying to improve. Let's say you ask them to do more chores around the house and they're making an effort to do so. If you leverage positive reinforcement and you actually express appreciation and you notice the effort that they're putting in, this goes an extremely long way and it helps them feel like they want to keep doing more and contributing more. There's a couple underlying reasons for this. One is that dismissive avoidants often didn't get a lot of positive reinforcement growing up. And so it's actually really nice for them to have this and to experience this. But number two, a lot of dismissive avoidants are carrying this secret fear that they are incapable of doing relationships, that they don't know how, or that it's not possible. They're never really going to be good enough at relationships. And so when they feel like somebody's actually saying, hey, you are doing a good job, it bolsters their sense of, I can do this. I'm actually capable of this. And it boosts their self-belief in their ability to do relationships in a healthy way. And so again, it just brings so much more positive momentum. And as they start to feel a lot safer because there's a place of acceptance, there's appreciation and acknowledgement, they start to feel like, okay, I'm letting down my guard, I'm letting down my walls, and I'm letting somebody in. And I'm seriously telling you, these are like the kryptonite for dismissive avoidance. And I'm going to tell you two other things, but I do want to let you know if you want to do a deeper dive into this topic, there's actually a course that's the roadmap to connecting with a dismissive avoidance. And it talks all about their fears, their needs, how to work through the fears, how to meet the needs. And it also tells you how to be able to know your own needs in the process so that you can communicate and convey these things from a place where you're actually going to get heard. And that course is for each attachment style. We have one, and I will put a link to check those out fully for free down below just for a limited time. Okay, here's point number three of four. Dismissive avoidants respond very well to support. Okay, when they feel supported, they feel safe. They feel like they can open up. They feel like there's harmony. And support for a lot of avoidants tends to come through acts of service. So doing little things, bringing a coffee, cooking breakfast, or, just these little things where you are showing support or checking in with them. Hey, how are you doing? How are things going? Even if they don't open up and show a lot of the fact that this is really beneficial to them and they really appreciate it, they are feeling it. And it's a really big way that they tend to receive love and connection in a way that makes them feel safe and like they can trust enough to really let those walls down. And number 4, this one often surprises people the most, is empathy. Again, because dismissive avoidants are often so stoic, they won't show how big of a deal empathy is to them, but it is. And when they feel like somebody's, attuning to their feelings, understanding where they're coming from, saying, yeah, I get why you're feeling uncomfortable right now, or I get why this would bother you, if they feel stressed or frustrated, or if they come home from work and they had a bad day. Hey, it's okay to have bad days sometimes. I see where you're coming from. It makes sense that you felt frustrated after what your boss said. Like, just validating and empathizing with their feelings, again, makes them feel so safe, so emotionally connected, like they can really let down their guard. And this is where they start to build and make huge strides towards secure relationships. Now, I will end with this one last thing. You can give these 4 things to an avoidant, and the vast majority of the time, the needle's going to move. But there may be certain cases where somebody's just not ready to be in a relationship, or there's a compatibility issue. So if you give these 4 things and you don't see the needle moving in a period of a couple of weeks and a lot of improvements in a relationship, and if you're feeling like you're communicating your needs back and those things are not getting received or actioned out, that may be time to reconsider the relationship, right? It doesn't mean that you should just give these 4 things and then never take up space yourself. Ideally, in healthy, secure relationships, we do both. We can be mindful of how other people receive love, how we connect to others, but then we also need to request that people can be mindful and connected to us. So make sure it's a two-way street. And in case you missed it, you can now reserve your spot and get more than a 50% early bird discount for our live relationship coach certification program. This 12-week program gives you the opportunity to build a new career, create your own thriving coaching practice, help your community, and secure your financial future full of abundance with a growing waitlist of clients. And the best part is that you get to spend a whole bunch of time with me as I teach you exclusive subconscious reprogramming tools and help you learn how to change somebody's attachment style from insecurely attached to securely attached so that you can truly help create transformation in people's lives and have a wait list of people waiting to work with you. We also have an entire business week about how to build funnels, systems, and to really build a thriving and busy practice. You can sign up using the link down below the video, and I can't wait to see you there. I hope that makes a whole lot of sense for you. If you don't know what you need to feel loved, again, that needs course will really go a long way. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like this video, share this with somebody in your life that might benefit, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our daily content.